deck.
Tempo Burn Bounce is an entirely new archetype. In stark contrast to my first ever deck profile, the goal of this deck is actually to bounce our own cards instead of our opponents. By doing this, we can gain 3 key things. Number 1, we can burn our opponent by gaining lore without questing. Number 2, we can draw extra cards by making one of our characters leave play, triggering their effect. Number 3, we can protect our characters from being challenged or removed by returning them to the safety of our hand, where the only thing they have to worry about is a whole new world or any other discard effect. This version of Bounce Burn is more tempo oriented rather than being solely focused on aggro or control like you might see in other lists. This deck is wildly different to the Ruby Amethyst hyper control list that we're all familiar with from the first chapter. As we are a tempo deck, we benefit a lot from going first, but we have ways to catch up even if we aren't. In the first few turns, we have a lot of cards that are incredible at applying early game pressure. Pascal is a personal favorite of mine. Thanks to its ability to become evasive, it can often quest 1, 2, 3 times despite only being a 1/1, which makes it very sticky and applies a lot of pressure to your opponent. And if your opponent doesn't have an answer to your Pascal, you can often win just of having a couple on the board persisting throughout the entire game. However, this is a lot less likely in set 2 due to how common efficient removal cards are now in set 2. Fire the Cannons, Teeth and Ambitions, and Let the Storm Rage On. This is due to the prevalence of the Ruby and Steel inks within the current meta. It is still a win for you if you force them to use that removal on a Pascal because you're forcing them to expend more resources than you put into playing with Pascal. The 2-drop slot, we have Pinocchio, which is literally just here because it quests for free. And the big reason that's so good is because we can enable Pinocchio to quest multiple times throughout the match. We can do that by A, using our bounce cost, like we see in Madam Mim on turn 3, which allows us to bounce Pinocchio back to our hand. Or B, we can play LeFou to re-ready Pinocchio so that he's not vulnerable to being challenged. Normally, playing a 2-drop on turn 3 could be considered a waste of resources. However, in a deck like this one, we have such a low curve that we can often fill in the gap with another Pascal. The upside of being able to quest for another free lore outweighs the opportunity cost of being able to spend that extra ink. Kuzco is also a great aggressive 2-drop, because similarly to Flynn Rider, our opponent has a disincentive to challenge and banish it, because if they do, we'll be able to draw a card. This should hopefully let Kuzco quest more than once despite its weak 1-2 stat line. This next section, you'll find out why I call it the Bounce Burn deck. Coming in hot in the free slot, we have Arthur, who allows us to double dip due to his effect of gaining 2 lore whenever we bounce one of our own characters to our hand. This means we can both benefit from the cost by protecting one of our exerted characters or by triggering any of the other when leaving play effects in our deck. This is a great way to protect our Pinocchios I brought up earlier. In niche scenarios, you can even use this to grab a card to ink if you've been unlucky on the draw. Aladdin and Maleficent are both great free cost to bounce, as again we can double dip by either questing or singing our friends on the other side, then bouncing them back to our hand to both protect them and so that we can recycle their on-play effects on future turns. Whichever one you play is really dependent on the situation and if you value the -1 lore or the +1 draw effect. To figure this out, you should really ask yourself if you're the aggressor and you have the tempo and you want to apply more pressure on the game by drawing more cards to have more options, or if your opponent has the tempo and you need to take away some of their lore to slow down the game and stall for time. In the 4-cost slot, we have what are essentially upgrades of our free cost bounce targets. As Merlin, Goat, and Rabbit not only draw a card or gain a lore when played, but also when leaving play. This works as a when bounce trigger and a when banish trigger, and it even still applies when your opponent sends your card to the inkwell. And if they don't use their removal or they simply don't have it, we can use our bounce cards to recycle those effects over and over and over. As you can see with this easy graph, our big boss bounce card is Madam Mim Purple Dragon. You might not find yourself playing her too often as she's very vulnerable to single target removal, but with evasive and questing for 4, it can be a very sticky and threatening target for your opponent to deal with. It can also be used as a trigger for some of our bounce effects later in the game. We're sitting on 16 or 18 lore and we have 1 or 2 Merlin Goats on the board. We can quest with both of them and then gain another 2 lore by bouncing both of them with only 1 Madam Mim. This is why it's so important to be aggressive and quest early even if you end up losing board control, as thanks to Ruby we can reset the board with Be Prepared and then finish off the last bits of lore with some burn effects like Merlin Goat. As always, in a Ruby deck we have access to some of the best control cards in the game. There are a few old guard favorites like Maui who can bounce back to our hand if they're on low health. Be Prepared, everyone's favorite and most hated board reset. Then Maleficent, the other big scary dragon that is the definition of a tempo card, because it has a buy one get one free of both removing an opponent's character and putting out a 7/5 body on the board that quests for 2. Lastly, the new addition to Ruby's already expansive toolkit is Lady Tremaine. Much like Maleficent, she's a 3/4 body that quests for 2, but she's uninkable and your opponent gets to choose the target that's banished. This means that unless your opponent's not the brightest, you're never going to be able to remove a high priority threat within a wide board. However, unlike Maleficent, you can actually get around ward because we're not the ones choosing the target, our opponent is. As for our other options that I'd considered, a 2-cost Lady Tremaine would be amazing so that we could shift into the 6-cost, but it's uninkable and we're an aggressive deck that would rather be gaining lore early on than removing it, so I couldn't really justify fitting it into the deck. Thief and Ambitions can work in other versions of the bounce list, but because we're running so many low health characters, we're not able to benefit off of damaging our own characters through the cost of Teeth and bouncing them back to our hand to heal them to full. Jiminy Cricket is unfortunately way too inconsistent with 4 Pinocchio. It is a really nice effect that we can bounce to draw on a 2-cost, but we can't really run it without running the other versions of Pinocchio, and they're not too impactful. Madam Mim, Rival of Merlin, has been getting some hype recently, being able to achieve an infinite lore loop that in theory could get you to 20 lore in 1 turn. Unfortunately, these are under very specific conditions, and you'll probably never be able to do it unless it was in a very heavy resist meta. Sorry to burst your bubble. Merlin Shapeshifter has a really powerful effect, but there's not enough space in the deck to justify his inclusion. This is because he's too vulnerable to forms of removal, and he needs at least 1 turn to set up, and if this card pops off, you probably would have already won if you're that far ahead. Yzma, Scary Beyond All Reason, is a serious consideration for the list. It's targeted removal at the cost of giving your opponent 2 cards. However, in our deck, we could even target our own Merlin Rabbit to give ourselves 2 cards off that effect and another card off the Merlin Rabbit leaving play, which basically means it's a pot of greed on a stick. Fortunately, Lady Tremaine does the job without giving our opponent resources, so we run her instead. The Sorcerer's Spellbook is a backup Merlin goat to help you close out a game, but it's a dead card that often isn't very impactful. I'd only ever really see myself running 1 copy at best. Here's the full list. Overall, this is a very fun deck that I think you all should give a go. I'm excited to see how this archetype evolves over time as it's very dynamic. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell. Alright, we've got the mulligan here. What do we have? Be Prepared, a ton of uninkables. We're just going to get rid of all of the uninkables. Probably get rid of the Aladdin too, as we're going first, so it's unlikely we need to take away our opponent's lore. Okay, well apparently it just didn't show up, and now I don't have a 1-drop. Thanks, game. So we're gonna have a bit of a delayed start. We'll definitely ink for Kuzco because we're not gonna need 2 of those. I mean, the only 1-drop we can get is Pascal anyway. Our opponent gets a Popsicle, so that sucks. But you know, we don't have a Pascal to apply pressure, but that's told us that they're likely a slower deck. So, as we play a Grand Martala next turn, we should hopefully be able to play the that's a really good question. If they have a Grand Martala, but Pinocchio's a worse play because we don't have a LeFou to re-ready. But that's where Kuzco would be better. I think because of a chance of Grand Martala, we have to play the Kuzco. I mean, technically, if they... so look, they had Vitala, they would have been able to play it. Even in the first few turns, guys, you're going to be wary of what kind of cards your opponents can play to react to your plays. Because now we're going to give them a really interesting... Well, we could play the... I think we don't play the Pinocchio here. I think we just go for a free cost. But it would be an interesting dilemma to put Pinocchio out on the board but quests at the same time as Kuzco, so they'd have to choose between the 2. We don't need the Rush card right now. The Aladdin's not doing anything, so I think we just go for the Maleficent. Aladdin, we're probably not going to get any use out of it. I mean, we could have got rid of a 9-cost Maleficent, but I think we're always going to be ahead in this matchup, so making our opponent losing lore isn't wildly impactful. There could be an argument to not quest with the Kuzco, so then we don't give our opponent ramp. I think just getting lore out on the board as quickly as possible is really a priority in this deck. Yeah, we need to get as much quest out as well before they hit the Be Prepared if they are running Ruby. Yeah, I mean, double Pinocchio next turn could be pretty insane if they get rid of that Grand Martala. Okay, they've gone for the Teeth and Ambitions to get rid of the Maleficent. So we still have 2 ink to play with. 3 even once we've inked, sorry. Yeah, well now we know they're Ruby and we know they have Be Prepared, so we really have to start amping up our aggression. Ooh, this is interesting. I think we keep the Madam Mim in hand so that we can bounce a Pinocchio back to hand if we need to. So in this case, we ink for Maleficent and we play 2 Pinocchios, then quest with the Kuzco. So I don't think they're going to bother our Kuzco as... Well, no, they probably will because they can do a damage for free, as Noi has their effect activated by the Popsicle, giving them +1 resist and ward. The fact that we baited out the Teeth and Ambitions is quite good because it's honestly more impactful to have our Pinocchios not get hit by it than our Maleficent, which we couldn't have sung with anyway. Okay, they're going into their full engine now, so they're going to have a really big resource advantage soon. So that's our signal to start, you know, applying some heavy pressure onto the board. Fortunately, their cards are very good at dealing with our Pinocchios. But we do have Madam Mim. Oh, they have another Teeth and Ambitions. That's so unfortunate. Yeah, well, at least we can protect the other Pinocchio with a Madam Mim. So I think, yeah, we ink one of the Mauis, quest with Pinocchio, quest with Kuzco, and we play Madam Mim to bounce the Pinocchio back to hand, and then we can play the Pinocchio again. This way, we're still applying the questing pressure, and then still not going to be able to get to a Be Prepared anytime soon, because we don't have a Fishbone Quill. And if they do exert the Haram to attack the Kuzco, we can clear it with a Maui. This is where we'd really like an Arthur out on the board, because we'd be able to get Lore and protect our Pinocchio at the same time. Okay, nice. They've made the Haram vulnerable, so we can actually hit in with our Kuzco and the Maui on the next turn. Oh, even just the Maui, sorry. It's a 6-5, not a 5-6. Alright, that's perfect. I think we have to ink the LeFou here, because we just need to get to 6 ink. Like, 6 is a pretty important number, so we can go 2+4. I think we accept that the Pinocchio is just going to die here. I mean... Yeah, Be Prepared's going to come soon, so I think... Ooh, actually, if we go with the Pinocchio... Oh, I mean, we're not going to be able to bounce the Pinocchio back anytime soon. So yeah, I think we just quest with the Pinocchio, baits out the Nick Wild, we hit the Nick Wild with the Maui, and then keep questing with our other cards. Like, I think that in some other matchups there's an argument to save the Pinocchio, but because we know they have access to removal, it's better to just get the Lore out on the board now. Yeah, no, they've got tons of card advantage now. If they hit that Fishbone Quill, they're going to start ramping too. Oh, they inked the Fishbone Quill? That's crazy. Maybe they drew another one. Okay, we've got a couple options here. Could sing with the friends on the other side. Then we'd have to trade with the Madam Mim. I think it's better to just play the Merlin, because it's another questing body on the board. Now we have another friends on the other side. We trade the Maui for sure. And yeah, I think we sing with Madam Mim, because... one lore's not a massive difference. I mean, it is pretty big, but they're probably going to be prepared next turn, so I wanted to have more cards in hand. But Madam Mim's probably not going to be too helpful, because our board's going to get wiped by Be Prepared, so I think we just go for another Friends on the other side to draw more cards. Yeah, we've gone to 7. Are we going to see it? Be Prepared? If they do it, we're going to draw a card from a Merlin, which is pretty nice. Oh, Hades. Okay, we're just going for a priority target on the Maui. Gonna go for a trade into the Kuzco with the Neck Wild. Oh, this is great. This tells me that they probably don't have the Be Prepared. Ooh, that's really nice. Now we can get rid of their Hades with just a Lady Tremaine and swing the tempo. So, I think we trade in with a Madam Mim. We play Lady Tremaine, they have to get rid of the Hades, and because we want to hit 9 ink, I think we could hold the Pascal. They have no discard effects. Yeah, I think we hold the Pascal, just in case we end up wanting to play it. We're probably gonna ink it next turn. Okay, yeah, there's the Be Prepared. So they were trying to get the Hades out on the board so that they could sing the Be Prepared and flip the tempo, but we just didn't let them. Ooh, get a Madam Mim out. Might be a bit early for a Madam Mim. I don't know. There's no point in playing Maleficent now or Lady Tremaine. So I think we go for a Merlin. Nice. Go for a Maleficent, draw even more cards. Perfect. And then rather than inking here, I think we go for the Pascal because it's a great target for Madam Mim. And you know it can quest. Hamatoa, boom, nice, we can remove that, easy. I mean, guys, this is probably the best deck in the game right now, and we are owning them. Yeah, so I think we ink for Pascal. Yeah, I think we want to be efficient with our removal, so because we only have one thing on board, we're playing the Lady Tremaine, because it's cheaper removal. There's no point playing the Maleficent just yet. I think we just ink for Pascal, because we're getting to the point of card advantage where it's probably more important for us to just gain more ink. In case they wipe our board. Yeah, I mean, now we just win next turn if they can't do anything about our board. Yeah, and that's game. That was overwhelming against the best deck in the game right now, the most hyped deck. Okay, we're going second. Got a lot of high cost cards again. Oh, do we ever keep the Arthur in hand? I think because we're going second, we definitely keep the Madam Mim because the rush card's good. I think because we're going second, we need more tempo cards, so we can't necessarily just... I mean, the Arthur's so nice with the Madam Mim though, right? Because we can get the rush again. No, it's not that good. I think we really want to hit some 1 and 2 drops, so we should just, yeah, get rid of everything that's not Madam Mim. Oh, Dude, that's so bad. We still didn't hit a 1 or a 2 drop. At least we're going second, so we can have a chance to draw another card, but 2 more turns to draw a 2 drop is not ideal. Okay, they're not an aggro deck, so the Aladdin, we're probably looking at inking here. Yeah, because we're just going to be setting up Popsicle Engine. It's another Popsicle deck. Oh, nice. We got the LeFou. Awesome. So we'll have something to bounce with. If we need it. I mean, it's not the best 2-drop, but yeah, get rid of the Aladdin. What's really good about inking the Aladdin here is the information control. Aladdin doesn't tell them what deck we're playing. Like, they have no idea we're playing a bounce deck because we've inked a very generic card that's in primarily Ruby control decks. And look, we can do it again. If we ink the Maleficent and play the LeFou, they'll still have no idea what deck we're playing. This more applies to like tournaments and high-level play, but it's a good habit to build even if you're just learning the game. There could be something to be said about just not playing the LeFou and keeping it for ink since they didn't have any board presence, but the extra 1 law might end up making a difference. Oh, interesting. They're playing a Popsicle bounce deck. That's so interesting. Okay, we'd really need to put on the aggression then, if we're going to beat them. Yeah, so let's ink the Maui and then play Maleficent so we can draw some more tools against them. We still just look like a normal Ruby Amethyst control list. They have no idea we're a bounce list. They could probably guess, but we haven't shown off any bounce cards yet. So they don't know that we can be quite aggressive in this matchup. So we might just keep setting up their draw engine, which will give us some breathing room to go super aggressive. Like if we get that like Merlin Goat set up, for example, or the, you know, the Arthur and the Merlin Goat. Like if Annoy with a resist is quite scary. At least it only does 1 damage and we have 2 2s. Okay, there's their Arthur. I definitely think we sing with Maleficent because drawing cards is just great. Nice. We get a goat out on the board first. I think maybe we do. We don't have many cards to ink as the issue, so maybe we shouldn't. Really want to get the Arthurs out on the board, but it might be too early. Yeah, it looks like we're going to need to... Oh, this is tricky, this is tricky. I don't think we can go full aggro yet. Just keep drawing cards. We need options. We need more cards to ink. Perfect. We can use some of our rush cards, like Madam Mim, to clear their Arthurs and stuff, and I think we should be able to get ahead and take some board control to give us some breathing room to put our Arthurs down. So, I mean, they do have Let It Go, so they have some forms of removal. Okay, they're just really ramping, so we probably need to start applying pressure. I think next turn maybe we go for a Arthur plus a 2-drop. Gotta get rid of the Arthur now. Maybe they play Madam Mim to bounce the Arthur back to hand. Oh no, they just put another Noi down. Okay, so yeah, we gotta put on the aggression now. It's definitely 3+2. Yeah, I think we put our Arthur down first, right? Like that makes more sense. Put an Arthur down. Think of Maleficent, because we have a ton of card draw already, and we don't have any stuff to sing. Play a Cusco, then trade into the Arthur, and sing with Maleficent. Okay, now we've revealed with bounce. We have the Arthur set up, we can start cycling the Merlin Rabbit for more draw. Yeah, look at that. Just went over the... Oh, and they used the Hades to get rid of the Arthur. Okay, well at least we have a Lady Tremaine for next turn. Ah, and they've exerted the Noi. Perfect. So we just need to take the Noi out. Oh wait, it's +1 resist, right? It should take 1 damage. It shouldn't get +2 while you have an item in play this character. It shouldn't get +2 resist from having 2 popsicles. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, well I guess I'm gonna play a Madam Mim, bounce my Merlin back to hand so that it's not low HP. Draw a card off that. Madam Mim goes into the Noi. Nice. Yeah, and what are we playing here instead? I think we keep... There's not much point getting rid of the LeFou yet. I think we put the Arthur down. And then we can ink the LeFou, which will let us play a Pascal. Because we know they don't have any AoE, because they're blue-purple, right? Oh no, they're blue-red. No, they are blue-purple, aren't they? I can't remember. Can't remember what their other color is. Do they have a Be Prepared? I don't think they do. No, they're not running red. No, they're running bounce. Okay, but yeah, they're blue-purple, so they don't have any AoE. It should be a very difficult board for them to deal with. I've gotten rid of both of my Arthurs that way. Okay, well, we should be able to Lady Tremaine 1 and then Madam Mim the other. Yeah, easy. Madam Mim the left one, Lady Tremaine the other. Game is ours at that point. Like, they haven't been able to find their draw engines or their Fishbone Quill. Oh, okay. They went for the heal. I mean, we're still going to be able to take you out. Just need to spend 1 more card to do it. Perfect. That's that Hades dealt with. Now we Lady Tremaine. Say bye bye to your Hades, and then yeah, I think we ink the Aladdin. I guess we don't have to ink it this turn. Oh no, maybe we do if we want to go Lady Tremaine plus Merlin. Yeah, so we want to be at 10 ink next turn possibly. We're playing against a ramp deck and we have more ink just because we've drawn so many cards. Okay, and they ramped us. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, we probably don't need to ink for the rest of the game. There goes an Arthur. I think just for tempo. Honestly, might just Lady Tremaine it. I should have played the Merlin Rabbit first, but oh well. I mean, they've got one card left in their hand. What are they gonna do? Yeah, I mean, this is why as the bounce list, like, blue does have forms of removal, but not having AoE removal leaves you, like, playing Popsicle without AoE removal, it leaves you very vulnerable to a wide aggressive list like this one. Like, I'm sure they would have done fine against a more traditional bounce list, but unfortunately for them, we're not a traditional bounce list. We even have the chance of 9+2 next turn if we draw an inkable card. Yeah, I mean, you know someone's struggling when their hard player friends on the other side, and boom, 10 lore left, but they just give up anyway. We had too overwhelming of an advantage. Let's go into our third and final game. All right, we are going first for once, and we have a Pascal. Awesome. I think we keep one of the Merlins. We don't keep the LaFoe, because what do we... Well, we keep one LaFoe to have a 2-drop, I suppose. Yeah, we keep one LaFoe just to have it. Get rid of Be Prepared. Keep everything else. I mean, we didn't find a better 2-drop, but it's fine. We're going first, so probably won't need the Aladdin. You could probably swap some of the Aladdins out with other stuff. It's just a nice bounce card if you have a close match. Or if your opponent's, like, got the tempo and they're more aggressive, you need to slow down the match. Okay, they've just played a Pascal too, so they're playing Amethyst purple. They might be playing a bounce list. Ooh, if they're playing a bounce list, I think we prefer Maleficent right now over Madame Mim. Yeah, so we're going to get rid of Madame Mim. Try and get some draw. Oh, I'm such an idiot. No, I did that in the wrong order. Why didn't I just cancel? It's because in real life, I wouldn't normally trigger that ability in that scenario because, you know, they're already not ready. Oh, well, we've given ourselves a handicap. We're one lore behind. Okay. They're probably maybe playing Simbas or something. They're running like this aggressive of a list. Do we just slam our our Pascal into theirs? I think we do. Because they're one lore ahead of us and we'd rather just like... They seem to be more aggressive than us. So I think by slowing down the game and drawing cards, it could really benefit us. We also just gave up tempo randomly by not questing with Pascal on turn 2. Okay, it's probably good we did that because we could have befuddled our Pascal. Okay, that was very nice from them. But now we're going to be able to sing Friends on the other side, which is super nice. The Aladdin is an option because we're going to lose with Maleficent and we want to be able to sing. Then we'd have to get rid of Friends on the other side, and I kind of just want to keep drawing with it. I don't think there's much point going Rabbit. I mean, no, Rabbit means... I think Rabbit's good because then we can sing with Rabbit, sing Friends. Yeah, and it looks like we desperately need some more cards to ink. Looks like they're also going for some card draw rather than playing aggressive cards. Oh no, they've played a Maleficent. So they're... Oh no, they traded. Okay, I guess we want Maleficent to keep being used to sing stuff, but we still have the Rabbit to sing, so that's good. Only quest for 1 anyway. Oh, nice. What do we play here? We can go 2+3. It's like Aladdin plus Pinocchio. Yeah, so then we ink for Cuzco, because we've already got a ton of ways to draw. And then Pinocchio. Awesome. And then we can quest with Pinocchio next turn and bounce it back with Madame Mim if we need to. Yeah, they've put a lot of small quests out on the board. Be prepared might be necessary this game. 2 more turns till we can be prepared. Definitely going to have to trade and control the board as much as we can. Don't think we can sing Friends right now. Oh, actually no, because we're going to go for the Madame Mim. So yeah, we can sing. Go quest with Pinocchio, Madame Mim into the Pinocchio, trade Madame Mim into the Maleficent so we can have more things live. Yeah. Perfect. We ink the Maleficent, and then just outright. I think we just play Pinocchio. We want to get some more quest on the board to scare them a bit, because they're gonna get quite close, because we're gonna be able to get +4 lore next turn with a Lilo plus Arthur. We have even more Pinocchios. That's super dangerous, and a Simba. okay, we can get rid of the Pinocchio. That's awesome. So yeah, I think Madam Mim goes straight into the Simba. How do we want to trade in? How do we want to trade into the Alpha? Yeah, I think we just have to sack both the Aladdin and the Merlin into it, and then go for the Lady Tremaine. Nice, get rid of the Pinocchio that way. Then we can quest with our Pinocchio, and I don't think we ink the friends on the other side. So it'd be much better to sing it on the Merlin next turn. We've already got enough to hit Be Prepared. Okay, I think either way, we're going to sing the friends with the Merlin. Nice, we've got another Lady Tremaine. Okay, that's perfect. So we can just play the Lady Tremaine again to reduce the amount of lore that they can gain next turn. And then we can just try and race them with our Pinocchio and Tremaine. I think we ink for Maleficent because we want to start going up in ink. Even though the draw's super good, I think having resources is important right now because we're getting pretty close to 20 lore. Okay, 14 lore. Ink to Pascal. Do we have another 1-drop to pay? Oh, they concede! Win. Oh, easy, guys. What was it? 3 in a row, back to back to back. Super easy wins. Went up against some meta decks. Went up against Popsicle. Went up against other bounce decks. There's a lot of micro decisions to think about, and the deck's very flexible. So tempo is super important in this deck. You have to think where your opponent's tempo is and where your tempo is. Because for most of that game, our opponent had the tempo because we were playing a very low curve with high questing cards. So we had to flip the tempo like we did with those Lady Tremaines and trading our units, and then we were the aggressor and they couldn't come back.